While the term Sigma male is widely discussed in internet culture, it's important to note that it is largely a social media concept, not a well-established psychological term. The Sigma male is often depicted as an independent, confident, and self-sufficient character who forges his own path outside of traditional social hierarchies, unlike the alpha male, who is typically seen as a dominant leader within a group. Proponents of the term argue that Donald Trump embodies many of these Sigma male traits. Here are 10 reasons why some may argue that Donald Trump fits this mold. 1. Self-reliance and independence. Donald Trump's public persona has been crafted around the idea of self-reliance. Despite initial help from his family, his self-asserted outsider brand in both business and politics emphasizes independence. His self-promotion as a figure who doesn't need anyone underlines his commitment to relying on his own judgment, resources, and brand. Even as president, Trump preferred to act based on his own beliefs rather than consult large advisory circles, illustrating a trait central to the Sigma archetype. This sense of total self-direction enables him to tackle challenges without feeling the need to lean on traditional support structures or established methods. 2. Nonconformity and rejection of social norms. Trump's personality reflects a deep-seated disregard for traditional conventions and expectations, often challenging established boundaries of decorum and protocol. His willingness to ignore unwritten social rules in everything, from public speaking to his business dealings, sets him apart from the typical leader who carefully navigates societal norms. His bold, often controversial statements show a lack of concern for fitting into any traditional mold. Sigma males are generally unconcerned with societal pressures to conform, and Trump's willingness to defy these expectations has both won him admiration and generated significant backlash. This rejection of the usual play-it-safe approach reinforces his image as a non-conforming figure. 3. Mystique and polarization. Trump is a master of cultivating mystery and polarization, which is common among Sigma personalities. His tendency to say things that provoke questions, even among his supporters, creates an enigmatic presence around him. His public persona can be hard to pin down. He oscillates between the everyman and the mogul, sometimes presenting himself as a voice of the people, while at other times emphasizing his personal success and wealth. This polarizing and unpredictable character contributes to a mystique that keeps people engaged, whether they love him or loathe him. Sigma males are often described as lone wolves who attract interest precisely because of their mystery and the difficulty of fully understanding them. 4. Leadership without seeking approval. A Sigma male is a leader who does not rely on others' approval or validation, and Trump embodies this trait to a strong degree. His leadership style is marked by an intense personal conviction, pursuing policies and decisions he believes are right, even when they are met with heavy opposition. His disregard for criticism allows him to remain focused on his objectives without being derailed by public opinion. This approach to leadership, where he seems to be driven purely by his own belief system rather than outside validation, is quintessentially Sigma. He often moves ahead based on gut feelings, asserting his vision regardless of how unpopular or challenging it might be. 5. Unorthodox problem-solving and outsider mentality. Rather than following conventional wisdom, Trump has demonstrated a tendency to adopt unconventional methods, both in business and politics. His decision-making process often surprises those around him, as he is unafraid to chart his own course. From major real estate deals to foreign policy, Trump's outsider mentality and unconventional problem-solving reflect his comfort with risk and his desire to break new ground. He doesn't limit himself to tried-and-true strategies, often opting for approaches that seem counterintuitive, further reinforcing the Sigma-like image of a man who forges his own path. 6. Charisma coupled with emotional detachment. Charisma is essential to any successful public figure, and Trump has demonstrated an ability to captivate audiences. However, unlike the alpha archetype who thrives on social dominance, Trump's charisma is often tempered with an emotional distance. He captivates audiences and draws people to him, but often remains distant from traditional alliances and close-knit teams. His supporters feel drawn to him, yet he maintains a self-contained aura that suggests he is ultimately detached from his followers' opinions. This kind of charisma mixed with aloofness is a classic Sigma trait, where the individual can attract others without being heavily invested in social connections. 7. Rejection of traditional authority and hierarchies. Trump has frequently clashed with institutions and figures of authority, showing an aversion to the traditional structures that govern business, politics, and media. His relationship with the media, for instance, was marked by frequent confrontations, as he expressed open skepticism toward mainstream news outlets and sought alternative channels to communicate his message. Trump's tendency to rebel against the norms of governance and established hierarchies is reflective of the Sigma archetype, where independence is valued over loyalty to any system or power structure. This anti-establishment stance resonates with those who feel alienated by conventional authority, enhancing his appeal as a figure who represents personal freedom. 8. Intense focus on personal goals and vision. Sigmas are typically focused on their own path, prioritizing personal goals above group success or cohesion. Trump's achievements reflect a single-minded dedication to his ambitions, such as building his brand, expanding his business empire, and ultimately reaching the presidency. He is driven by a desire to make his own mark, not necessarily by any desire to collaborate or foster unity. This commitment to personal achievement despite obstacles showcases his alignment with the Sigma trait of self-directed ambition. He prioritizes his vision over others' expectations or approval, reinforcing the image of a man who follows his own roadmap. 9. High-risk tolerance and bold decision-making. Sigma males often have an elevated tolerance for risk, willing to gamble on their own judgment even when the stakes are high. Trump's business career includes high-profile risks, such as major real estate ventures and ventures into entertainment, that reflect his willingness to face potential failure. In politics, he took similar risks, adopting controversial positions and policies that challenged long-standing precedents. Whether it's in business or politics, his high-risk tolerance reflects the Sigma quality of acting independently and boldly, trusting in his own resilience and ability to handle the consequences. 10. Indifference to social validation and resilience to criticism. A definitive Sigma trait is an indifference to external validation, and Trump's career is filled with examples of his disregard for others' approval. He has repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to stand by his decisions, policies, and statements, regardless of how unpopular or criticized they are. Unlike the alpha, who might derive energy from admiration, Trump seems undeterred by backlash, suggesting a high degree of self-assurance. This resilience allows him to pursue his goals with minimal distraction, embodying a Sigma's trait of remaining focused and confident, despite external pressures or negative opinions. Final thoughts. Trump's personality, actions, and leadership style closely align with the Sigma male archetype, as defined by internet culture. He is self-reliant, non-conforming, independent, and willing to pursue his own path regardless of external validation. While the Sigma concept is speculative and more a product of pop psychology, it's easy to see how Trump's behavior could be interpreted through this lens. He embodies traits like independence from social expectations, high-risk tolerance, charisma with detachment, and a focus on personal goals that separate him from more traditional alpha or beta archetypes. Ultimately, Trump's ability to operate outside the bounds of conventional social hierarchies has solidified his image as a quintessential Sigma male figure, admired for his resilience and self-determined approach. That's all in this video. If you liked the video, consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video, soldiers.